So you might be wondering why the thumbnail of this video is a random knife next to a bottle of tequila. Well, we'll get to the knife later, but first I'm going to tell a story about when I flew back into Ironwood from Chicago. So it was shortly before my flight took off when I was approached by some worker who most likely was working on the tarmac and not the actual flight crew. They were asking, "Where's Charlie at?" And I said, I'm back here." They told me that somehow, I don't know what happened. It might have been my fault based on how I repacked my bag after I left Customs and Border Protection. Or maybe it was the tarmac workers' fault because they decided to play the world's largest game of cornhole with my duffel bag. I don't know, but they told me that a bottle of tequila, similar to this one, but a 1 point or a 0.75 liter size, a fifth, went and busted inside one of my bags, and there was glass and tequila everywhere, like my clothes were having some kind of a party on the way back to Michigan. So, naturally, I try to remain calm, but I give out my best Samuel L. Jackson motherfucker uh, imitation right in front of everyone, pretty much, because I was a little pissed. I was told to pick up some tequila and bring it back with me, like authentic Mexican tequila. And that was probably about 30% of what I brought back smashed in one go. So as you can imagine, because the bottle was still broken in my duffel bag, I had to go and clean it out later. And I had to be real careful because if I moved my hand the wrong way and slid into a piece of glass, I probably would have ended up in a hospital, and then I'd have to make another video like the one I made before, where I talked about how I'm lucky to still have all 10 digits. So as you can imagine, I actually do end up cutting myself in a minor way, but I suppose if I was less careful, it could have been a lot worse. But my clothes smelled like tequila. I had to go and clean my bag. It was a mess. But yeah, so it could have either been my fault or maybe it was the world's largest game of cornhole, but I don't know. So, because I talked about giving myself a minor cut, I'm going to do a callback to that previous video where I talked about how I'm lucky I still have all 10 digits. So when I first got this knife, it was November 2015. So the scar I have on my left index finger is about 7 years old. What I did was I grabbed the handle like this because the knife wouldn't come out, and I pulled it with all the force that I could. And then the knife slid and almost cut my finger off. But then I learned, as you can see here, you got these two thumb slots. You can just spread them apart, and then you can just go and slide this knife out. So originally this was the Ubiqua Hunter, but it was recently rebranded as the Revolt Remove. So you could say that I have the prototype, and this is actually the only knife that's been sent out twice in the history of BattleBox. So this was the knife of the month in Mission 9, and it was the knife of the month in probably, I believe, one of the last 12 boxes, because it couldn't have been more than a year ago. But as you can see, this is a big game style skinning knife. It's got a real generous, beefy edge there. As you can see, it's got a hell of a grind. This was the David Kurt design. And then if you look here at the handle, there's actually a hidden feature in this. So if you're skinning an animal and you're getting close to the guts, you're not going to want to have this big of a blade, because if you have too much blade, you can actually go and possibly cut something you're not supposed to, and that could taint your meat. Well, here's the solution. See this spine here? and just go and push on it, slide it out, and then inside the spine of the knife, you actually have a gut hook here. So this gut hook will enable you to make a more precise cut, just dragging it along. And then you don't have to worry about monkeying with this and actually puncturing too deep, because if you do, you pretty much spoiled your meat, because then it might be too toxic to consume. So this is a great skinning knife. I have a blood pact with it, meaning I'm probably never going to sell this knife because I bled on it. But hopefully this gives you a little more insight on what happened to me. And if I recall correctly, I didn't tell my sweet mate what happened. I just left a pool of blood in the kitchen. And he walked in and instantly he knew what happened. He just said, "Damn it, Charlie." And then he just walked back into his room and I cleaned it up later after I got stitches. So anyways, that's the video about the tequila bottle and the knife that almost caused me to lose a finger. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment, a like, and if you enjoyed this video enough, give me a subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to put out next on this channel. I'm always thinking and I have several ideas. Anyways, I hope you have a great day. Bye!